U-nity, a.k.a. also known as I-nity. Are you wondering what the heck she's going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to start with telling you about my week. Oh, you ever had one of those weeks where nothing seems to be going right? And the more you try to turn it around, I literally even did the hokey pokey in my house, and I said, I'm turning myself around, and it still didn't work. Have you had one of those weeks? Please tell me you have, right? Because it's been one of those weeks. And let me tell you what took place here. We have our operations manager, Judy, who works part-time. We have Kimley. She's our outreach coordinator and volunteer coordinator. She's part-time. We have Joe Higgins, our financial admin. He's part-time, always away from home, but he's part-time. And so there's our three office staff that we have. Well, Monday morning, Judy's sick. Kimley is on vacation. Joe Higgins is on vacation. Our board president is on vacation. Who's that leave? You. Yep. Now, I'm normally paced like a chicken with my head cut off, but this week I was really overwhelmed. And the phone rang more than it's ever rang in this office. It's almost like somebody's out there going, call now for a hall rental. Call now for a wedding. Call now for a tour, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, that's where I was this week. Now, it took until Friday, because technically I try to take off on Thursdays and Fridays. But that wasn't going to happen, and I knew that because everybody's out. All right, but Friday, I notched out time with a friend of mine and my kids and grandkids to go to some kind of water park in Middletown. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it. Land of Illusion. Land of Illusion. Look it up. Oh, my gosh. Let's show... Here's Kathy in the Land of Illusion. She gets knocked down, falls down, but she gets back up again. This is the story of my life. Someday I will write a book, and you will see how many times in the course of this lifetime that I've gotten. I said I can give Boppo the clown a run for his money. You know, bang it down, and he pops back up again. What was that? I did a talk on weebles are made to wobble, but they never fall down, right? So here was where the turnaround happened in me. And this is part of what I want to talk about, because part of this has to do with this book that I'm slowly covering and interjecting into my talks, 8 Habits of Love. And isn't it interesting that the habit of love that I want to cover this week was about play, the habit of play. That is what turned it around for me. I no sooner got in the car, and I'm in a car with 2 adults and 2 kids who don't know me that well at all, but that always brings out the playful little 6-year-old Kathy comes out. And so even though I said, I'm going to read while we ride up to Land Illusion, because this is the only day I got to work on my talk, right? That didn't work. I put it down because I was too busy. I got to talk to the kids. So let's show that next slide there. I forget I got this TV I can look at too. What is it that says? Let the little children come to me. I'm going to the one on the right first because I love it, right? And do not forbid them, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. And then the one on the left. I couldn't find the quote out of the Bible verse that I like, but it basically is, if you must be in the mind of a child in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's almost like there really should be a sign up there going, no adults allowed, right? That's what turned me around, was I shifted from this adult, overwhelmed with responsibilities, felt the need that I had to answer every text, every email, every phone call that came in, and I took my phone in the car and I put it on silent and I put it in my purse and just stayed present in the ride with the kids. And then I put my life jacket on, because in the land of illusion, which you're in a big lake, and it has the most ultra strong blow up slides and jumping boards and everything, you cannot help but laugh. You cannot help but laugh the whole time. And everyone must wear a life jacket. So as the kids start taking off, I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to float. I'm just going to swim around, right? Next thing you know, I'm climbing up the inflatables, and I'm jumping off the 20-foot goofy inflatable thing, right? And of course, teenagers are up there. And what do teenagers do, especially if they see a grandma up there, right? They don't go, can I help you? They go, boom, 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 right? And I'm like, oh, jeez, Pete. I was laughing so hard. It turned everything around. So I get it. In U-nity, we focus on heaven is not somewhere we're going to. In U-nity, we focus that heaven is a state of consciousness, and we get to choose whether we want to be in heaven or hell every minute of every day. Isn't that true? And I was spending all week in hell, and it took that moment to be in the car with kids to shift me out of my adulthood, Miss Responsible, Miss I'll get everything done, to let's play. And I handled everything. When I got to my phone, because everybody's sick, right? And so I got to the phone to just check voicemails, and there were some urgent things on there that needed to be attended. I attended them with such different attitude. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't like, oh, I gotta do another thing. I get to do another thing. I don't have to do another thing. Thank you, Ron Wills, for teaching me that concept. Isn't that something? I'm going to just interject that again, because I want you to catch that. When you say, I have to do something, change it to, I get to do something. And it does the hokey pokey and turns yourself around. It really does. So where am I going with this? That's key that I want you to know about the habit of play. And I think I want to read something. Nope, I'm going to save that for later. Yes. So I want to tell you something that in this course of this week, in my negative emotions, Michael's going to watch a movie. Well, I don't have time for a movie, right? I tell him, I don't have time for a movie. So you go ahead and watch a movie. I'm going to be in my home office because I got too much to do. Did I tell you my bank also did a conversion on Monday, and it lost all of my bill pays, and I have no banking for 3 days? And, that added to it too. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go handle all this. He stops the movie, comes in and says, you really got to come in here and watch this. This is a spiritual movie, and I think you're going to like it. And it's Bob Marley. And I'm like, right, it's another music movie, whatever, right? He's the musician, right? He loves all genres of music. He said, I'm telling you, it's really spiritual. So I'm like, okay. I go in and I watched the first 5 minutes. And why I left is because I left this section of notes at home. And I can't find them. So I'm going to try to go by ear on this, off the cuff, right? Oh, that reminds me. One of the greatest talks that Dalai Lama ever did was he was making this real important point, and he went like this. And he just he just starts, it just, and you know, Dalai belly laugh, right? He just laughs. And his whole thing was about, oh, well, I forgot what I was saying to this huge amount of audience. And the lesson in that is quit taking ourselves so serious, because I could be really upset that I don't have that page of notes. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to get up and say something. So I'm going to take you to this movie, not to the movie. I can't do it because it's out there on Amazon Prime. But it's called One Love. And it's, of course, a dramatization of Bob Marley's life. But I don't know if you realize, I think it was in the late 70s, Jamaica had recently gotten their freedom from Great Britain, and they were on the brink of civil war in that country. There were two factions that were killing each other. Jamaica to this day still considers Bob Marley was one of the major key factors that the Jamaica ended up resolving their conflict and moving to unity. So let's show that picture, please, the next one. Okay, this is Bob Marley and his wife, Rita. But when they were, they were teens, they were young when they got married, and she was taking him to a guru, but before they went, she's talking to him about, because the country is at war. There's shootings on the street, there's tanks, it was a horrible situation. Senseless deaths were going on. And she was talking to him because he's writing music, and he's writing music about peace and unity and redemption. And she says, there is no you or them or I or me, not I, me or you, they or them. We must speak I-nity. And he goes, is that a unity thing? I think I got it up here, don't I? Yes. So that is a unity thing. She says, no, I-nity. Sometime the messenger has to become the message. Sometimes the messenger has to become the message. So he's waiting for them to change. He's waiting for you to do something different. Instead of I, as the messenger, need to be the message. And Michael and I were talking about this. He left this morning for a month-long sailboat ride up in the North Channel. And we were talking about this last night, and he said, we were talking about this messenger has to become the message. And I said, there's a lot of messengers out there that are not living their message. They have a good message, but they're not living it. A true messenger is always seeking the message and living from that message. So I'm telling you, this movie, it was awakening, and it was highly spiritual, because in Jamaica they call God Rafsta, and they also use Jah Jah is another word for God. And Bob Marley is like very, very into and was raised very poor, but was raised in a belief of Rasta. So he ends up going to have a peace concert in the middle of this civil war going on. And they all told him he shouldn't do it, don't do it. And it was I forget the actual name of he was calling it, but it was, so his songs are all about peace and unity, and the crowds are coming, thousands in Jamaica, because they're crying for peace, but they cannot get these two factions to talk to each other. And it takes him being shot at for him to leave the country. His wife also gets shot in the head. You'll find this interesting. And because her dreads are so thick, it didn't hit her brain. Isn't that fascinating? You got to watch this movie. I'm telling you. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's Jamaica. They're free. There's a lot of, smoking and all that stuff goes along with some of these bands. But it's the spirit of this movie will give you hope. Because lately our country is in civil unrest, right? We're not facing tanks in the street, thank God, right? But there's a thread of this feeling, and this movie gave me hope. And to see Bob Marley standing up for that. But anyway, they both got shot at. She lived because of her dreads, and he leaves and starts writing music. He realizes he sends her off to Delaware, and their 5 kids. I think they have 5 kids at this point, to Delaware where her mother is. And he goes to London, and he's writing music. And the album Exodus, if you're familiar with that, it is all about the songs that he wrote, hearing and looking for the message. He was told by a guru, Rasta has picked you. And I want to say why. Because he asked him, what is your name? And he said, well, my name is Nexta, but everybody calls me Robbie. And he said, Nexta, messenger. You're the messenger. You've been sent by Rasta. You cannot be a messenger until you seek the message. And so he spent that time in London writing and seeking for the message, and ends up with this killer album called Exodus. I'm belaboring probably too much time on this, but I cannot help it. It was so he comes back to Jamaica after, I think, 3 years. Comes back and holds this concert. And in the concert is the leader of Faction 1, I'll call it, and the leader of Faction 2. They're up on stage, and Bob Marley's in the middle, and they're all 3 holding hands. Peace had been restored and was being restored to the country. And they say because of Bob Marley's music is why it impacted. And I look at you musicians, and you know what music does to people. When you're sitting up here, you get to see their faces change, don't you? Everywhere you play out, you see the impact of music. Music, art, it all heals. You are a messenger, and you have a message through your music. You all are messengers. Remember one time, I love this when I challenge you. What if you are the Savior that the world has been waiting for? If you really answered that question, what if I was? You'd sure act a lot different. I wouldn't have spent that week that I just spent. But I forgot. And until I became like a little child, I entered the kingdom of heaven on Friday at Land of Illusion. I hope you get that point, what I just said. When you are stuck in your adult mind and body, Go hang out with some kids or go hang out with 6-year-old Kathy and we will have a blast. It's the truth. When I'm in that frame of mind, I'm in heaven consciousness. But when I'm stuck on, stuck on stupid, I'm in hell. And so I just say to all of you, that's what this message today is about. And I want to show this next slide. If you guys want to come up and help me with this one, I'd really appreciate it. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. So the movie is titled One Heart. So if you get to watch it, if you have Amazon Prime, I highly suggest the movie. It's pretty much appropriate, other than kind of the dope smoking scenes, but there's not a lot of foul language and anything like that. But I asked these guys to play this because this is the theme song of U-nity, aka I-nity. You can all sing it with us.
Sing along.
It's definitely a sing along.
One heart, let's join together and I'll feel alright.
Children say,
One love, one heart, praise to the Lord
and
we'll be alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love.
Come on, I can't hear you.
One heart, let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's.
Should we sing it again?
I think we should. I think we should.
Yes. Come on.
One love, one heart, let's get together and
I'll
feel alright.
With your music, you know it.
One love,
Children sang.
one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
Everybody sing.
Oh, thank you for that. Oh, my goodness. So, I want to leave you with, boy, I'll tell you, I am just a mess here today. I want to read this to you of something out of the 8 Habits of Love, real quick. And it says, look at this quote, "The habit of play restores us to ourselves." Sandy, I'm looking at you. You remember a few years ago, quite a few years ago, when the Labyrinth was first going in, and Sandy and I kind of set a play day together, right? Well, we found a two-wheel cart, like a refrigerator dolly, out in the carriage house, and we were moving logs because we got this great idea. We would take stumps and sit it in the center of the labyrinth, right? Next thing you know, I got Sandy on the two-wheel cart. I'm running her all over the place, right? You've also, if you've been around here on Saturdays, I've been known to put my grandkids in my car and stand them outside of my, what do you call that, the moonroof or sunroof that moves? So they're standing out, and I'm doing 360s in the parking lot. It's what and Sandy was laughing so hard because it brought her little girl out. The habit of play restores us to ourselves, our true self. Your true self is the 4-year-old that you buried inside of you under the adult auspices of teachers, parents, religious leaders that told you, no, you're not. You're not this and you're not that. But the 4-year-old in you knows the truth. You got to let him out once in a while. You got to let him or her out. And I'm going to read this other line. The habit of play allows us to step back from the ever-present. This is the line. I know why I chose this. This was for me. The habit of play allows us to step back from the ever-present anxiety that gnaws at us, wears us down, and can lead us to make poor decisions that are based on fear. Everything is either love or fear. Let's look at that last slide there, Joe. I love that. Give me time and space, freedom from rules and structure. I need you to let me play. Let's look at the affirmation for the week. Divine unity means we are all one. There is no separation. Let's say that again. Divine unity means we are all one. There is no separation. I'm walking down this aisle because this all sounds good, doesn't it? It's a feel-good statement, isn't it? But let's think about your family. Let's think about that family member that rubs you the wrong way. Let's think about, the Facebook post. Let's think about the news apps that you're looking at. And is it hard not to see them? But anytime we go them, we're in separation. So 4-year-old sees none of that. I look at your little kids, they don't know separation yet. Thank goodness for you parents. You parents, where are you? Yes, you parents that are teaching them oneness consciousness, to love like a 4-year-old. Yeah. Oh, namaste.
Namaste.
The Christ presence, the little 4-year-old Kathy sees and honors that 4-year-old. Truly, that 4-year-old in each and every single one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
So with that, thank you. Thank you.